Hi guys, so welcome back once again on my channel. So in this video we'll be learning how to draft this corset bodysuit. So if this video is what you're interested in, please kindly watch it to the end, and please subscribe if you have not subscribed. Okay, thank you so much to all my wonderful subscribers, to all my passers-by. Thank you guys so much. Okay, without wasting much of our time, let's dive into the video. Okay, so guys, here now you can see here I'll be drafting on this my pattern paper. So I'll be drafting on this sheet. So this is the paper I'll be working on. So we are going to first of all mark out our basic bodies. We'll first of all mark out our basic bodies. Okay, so after marking out our basic body, before we go ahead and continue, so first of all I'll draw a starting line here. So this line will serve as my shoulder line. So from there I'll go ahead and input my vertical measurements. So first of all I will mark out my bust point. Okay, so from shoulder to bust point, then my under bust, then from under bust shoulder to waist. So these are the lines I have now. So I also mark this thing. I will repeat it for me to get a straight line. Okay, shoulder to bust line or bust point, your under bust, then the waistline. So these are the lines you can see. This is my waistline. So these are the lines I have here. So I'll go ahead and label them. I'll label this one bust line or bust point, then my under bust, then waistline. So then we'll proceed. So from there I'll just go ahead and so guys, now from the waistline, where for us to get our crotch line, we're going to divide your hip measurement by 4 plus 1 inch. So starting from the waistline, I'm going to input my result. Okay, so divide your hip measurement by 4 plus 1 inch. So that is what you see me marking here. So after that I'll connect it with a straight line. So this will serve as my crotch line. Okay, so this is the crotch line. Now I'm trying to mark it. This is the crotch line. Then from the crotch line I'll go ahead and label it. So from the crotch line now we're going to get our crotch extension. Our crotch extension, remember, it's a swimsuit, it's a bodysuit, yeah, or swimsuit. You're going to those where that will enter under your tiles. So I'm going to extend it by 2 inches. So you see, from the crotch line you extend by 2 inches for the front bodysuit. Okay, so this will serve as the extension. So I label it extension. So we have gotten all our vertical measurements. So go ahead right now and continue with our basic body. So divide your shoulder measurement by 2, mark on the shoulder line, then you come down by 1 inch for your shoulder slope. Then for the neckline I will go ahead and use 3.5. You can decide to use any neck width of your choice. So for the neck depth I'm going to be using 4 inches. Okay, so you can use a standard neckline, which is 3x3, or your preferred neck width and neck depth. So I'll go ahead and connect it. So you can connect it this way, or depending on how you want it. You can see I'm still trying to play around with it, the kind of round neck I needed. So it depends on what you're working on. So from there I'll just go ahead and connect. So I think I've gotten the round neck I wanted. So try to clean up the first one, then you connect the shoulder slope into the neck width like so. So after that you're going to get your armhole. Me normally from the bust line you go up by 2 inches to get your chest line or your armhole line. So from the bust line or bust point I went up by 2 inches, or you can use your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Okay, so I will label it chest line. So from there I will input my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So I will connect it with a straight line like so. So I'll just go ahead and connect with a straight line to the shoulder slope, so like so. So we're still trying to get our basic bodies. So from here I'll go ahead and input my bust measurements for us to get our armhole. So I'll get the middle point from the shoulder slope down to my chest line. I'll get the middle point, then I'll come in from that middle point by half an inch, then I'll connect it from the half an inch to the bust circumference, okay, like so. Then I'll use a straight line to connect it into the shoulder slope like that. So you can see we've gotten our front armhole. So the next thing now is for us to input our bust span measurements. So you're going to divide your bust span divided by 2. So we're going to mark it like that, your bust span measurement by 2. So here I'll be stopping at the waistline, at the so I stopped at the waistline, okay. So I will stop at the waistline for now. Remember, we are still going to curve our pants or our bodysuit. So after stopping at the waistline now, the next thing we are going to do now is to get where you want the curve to stop. So I came down from the waistline by 5 inches. So you can go down by 4 or 5. So I marked 5 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect it like so. So I'll label it slant line. So this is my slant line. So from there now, the next thing now is to extend this line to my slant line. So I'll just extend it, my bust span measurement. So I'll extend it all the way to the slant line, okay. So this is where our pants will be forming. So after that, from the under bust measurement, I'll go in by 1 inch on both sides. So I'm marking 1 inch on both sides. That is for my under bust measurement. So I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. Then from the bust point, I will go up by 1/2 inch and I will come down by 1/2 inch. Then I'll connect it like so. So just go ahead and connect. So we are trying to get our corset cup, okay. So this is what you are trying to do. You can do where to check on my channel, because this, you can decide if you want to get a deeper cup, you can draft it on a separate paper. So I also extend the line 1 inch all the way down to the slant line. So as I was saying, guys, I have a video on my channel on how to draft a corset cup separate if you want to get a deeper cup, okay. Remember, this cup will not give you that deep that you want, that full neck, that it will not be able to cover your boobs. So that is the story. So for now, so let's continue with what we are doing. So from here, the next thing now is to determine where I want my sweetheart to stop, where the depth of my neckline, okay. So I went up from my chest line, I went up by 1.5, or you can just get from the shoulder line, just measure how down or deep you want it, okay. So I will extend my lines up to that new neckline, so like so. Then from there, I also mark 1 inch and 0.75 in from the center front. Then I marked 1 inch from the center, for the center side or side front. So I'll go ahead and use my curve rule to connect it like so. You can see the way I'm trying to connect, so to form my curve. From that 1/2 inch I went up from bust point, so I'll connect it like so. So this is what I have. So after that, the next thing now, I will go ahead and get the midpoint of my shoulder like so. I'll get the middle point of my shoulder, the remaining point on the shoulder to the neck width. So I'll mark the middle point. Then I'm going to connect that line into the bust span like so. So I'll just connect it. This is to enable me close my side dart when because I'll be applying side dart to this corset. Okay, so from there now, from this bust point, so I'll just go ahead. The difference between my front bodies and my back is 1.5. So from my shoulder to waist I have 18, so 18 subtract 1.5, so that will be for my back. That will serve as my back shoulder to waist. Okay, so but we're going to leave it now because I'll be imputing that after I've added my body circumference. So from the crotch line now, the next thing we are going to do, I'll go in by 1 inch like so. I'll go in by 1 inch like this. So after that I'll go ahead and connect it. So I'll go in by 1 inch. You can see, so unfold is 1 inch. By the time you open it, it will be 2 inches. So this will determine as how tiny or wide you want, how wide or tiny you want it to be. The under where we are going to be inputting our fastener under your thighs. So after that, then on the chest line here, we're going to impute our body circumference. You can see we've already input our chest line, so you're going to input your under bust measurement plus your allowance, that allowance, then you connect. Then at the waistline you're going to repeat the same thing. At this point, if you want to snatch your waist, you can go ahead and snatch it, but here I did not snatch, I just marked it. Then I impute my dart by that intake, then I marked it like so. Then on the this is the under here, this is the waistline. Then on the slant line, so I'll go ahead and impute exactly what I have for the waistline on my slant line. Or you can actually use your upper hip measurement. So you can use your upper hip measurement. Okay, then you will use your upper hip measurement. Remember the slant line from the waistline, you went down by 5 inches. So if you measure it on your body, you're going to have something above your fuller hip, the upper hip. The upper hip, can take the measurement, or you can subtract 2 inches from your actual hip measurement. You know, the upper hip is not as full as the normal hip line. So here, depending on your hip side, you can see from my waist, so shoulder to waist measurement plus 5 inches. So it depends on your waist, which will determine if you are going to use your hip measurements, or you can subtract your hip measurement, subtract 1 inch, then you mark it on the extension crotch or slant line. Okay, so here now I'm trying to, so for the bust point I went ahead to impute my dart intake. So I'll go ahead and connect the lines like so. So like I said earlier, on the slant line you can choose to put your hip circumference, okay, or your hip circumference subtract 1 inch. So you can see from that slant line I go ahead and connect it into the 1 inch on the crotch line and the extension, crotch extension. So this is how I turn my ruler. You can even use your free hand to achieve this. Okay, so you just go ahead and connect it like so. You can see I'm trying to use a free hand first before. Everything depends on how full you want. You can also turn your ruler this way, so depending on how you want it. You can even use your free hand to make this curve. Okay, so this is for the front part. You can see how it came in. You can see that it came in, it's a little bit smaller. Okay, so this is it. So this sharp edge, you are going to do what? Curving that sharp part. So the next thing now is to extend the dart line. So I'll just extend this dart line into this slant or curve line like so. This, you can see, is forming the pants already. The down part is forming pants. It's like a pant already. So here So this place is, it will be cut out. So this is how it looks now. So from this cup now, this side, so we are going to do what, mark out our side dart. So you can see, this is why I say I want to wait after I've finished my marking out my body circumference. So from the bust point, I extended it by 1 inch. Then on the side, I came down by 1.5. Like I said, 1.5 is the difference between my front bodysuit and the back, from shoulder to waist. So this is the difference. So here is my side dart. So after this side dart, now the next thing is to determine my sweetheart neckline. So from this chest line, I will just you can start from chest line, or you can from the bust point or bust line, you can go up by 1 inch depending on how deep you want your sweetheart to be. So here from the bust line, I went up by 1 inch, then I connected it this way. If you don't want something a little bit deep, you can use your chest line. Okay, so from there, I forgot to go in by 1/2 inch. So this will serve as the difference between the two busts. So half inch all the way from that line down to the under bust. So I'll just go ahead and reconnect. So this will serve as the difference between the two busts. Remember, this is a corset, so you can actually use a different corset. You can construct or draft this bra cup or corset cup on a different paper to get a fuller curve, a fuller bra cup or corset cup. Okay, so now for the side, I'll just go ahead and, okay, for the down, you can see the way I'll curve it, or curving it into that 1/2 inch. We'll form this center front cup. Then for us to get the side, so you can either, you get the difference between your under bust, the bust point and your under bust plus 1 inch. So remember, I added I use 5 inches. Your difference between the under bust and the bust point, then you mark it like so. So from here, you can see how I'm marking it, or you can just from the, or you can just come in from your actual bust circumference. You come in by 1 inch, then you connect, use your rule to connect it like so. But you using the difference between your bust point and under bust will help you, will be much easier. So from there now, I'll just go ahead and use my curve rule to connect it like so. You can see, just go ahead and connect. You can see the way I've connected it like that. So here will serve as the front yoke. So this is my front yoke, the upper part, in case if you are working with yoke. But if you're not working with yoke, you can just make use of the part you are working on. So here I'm trying to label it, so center front and the side front. So from here, in case if you want to use 3-part corset, you can just mark 2 inches. You can see the way I'm trying to mark 2 inches from here all the way down to this part. But I'm not going to be using 3-part corset, so that is why I do not emphasize much on it. So this is how you can use your 3-part corset. Okay, so this is it in case if you are using a 3-part corset. Okay, so guys, after this now, I'll just go ahead and make an arrow to indicate which one will be facing each other. So the next thing now is to cut it out. So I think we are done. We are done with this. So basically it's left for us to cut it out. So this is what we have. Okay, so now after cutting it out, now the next thing is to close our side dart. So I'll just go ahead and open the shoulder, this line on the shoulder. This is the shoulder dart. I'll go ahead and open it up. I'll cut it all the way to the bust point. So then before I'll go ahead and cut out my side dart like so. So just go ahead and cut it out, and decide to gum it like tape it down, or you can go ahead and cut it out. So like so, you can see now I'll be able to, you can see now we have been able to close the side dart like so. So this is what you have. Okay, so now I've taped it down. So now you can see I'll just go ahead and reconnect the lines like so. Then I'll cut out this excess here. Just go ahead and cut it out like so. So we are done with this. So the next thing now is to cut out this part. But first of all, let's work on the back. So I'll go ahead and introduce a plain sheet, so you'll be able to cut out or draft the back bodysuit. So basically I'm going to repeat the same thing I did on the front, marking out the basic sleeve, the bust point. This time around I'm omitting the under bust. Remember, you are going to mark the difference between your waistline. So I minus 1 inch from my actual waistline for the back. So I'm just repeating our basic block here. That is why I'm fast forwarding this video. I don't want it to be too lengthy. So just go ahead and draft out your basic bodies. So after that, now then, from the crotch line, you're going to, from the waistline or the crotch line, okay, you are going to do what? Come down by, okay, here is the, remember, from the waistline we came down by 5 inches. This is for the slant, so this is the slant line. Then for that same waistline, you're going to mark exactly what you marked before, your hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing from the waistline. So I mark it out. So after that, then remember from the crotch line, so this is our crotch line. Remember from the crotch line, we extended the front by 2, but this time around for the back, here I'll be extending it by 3 inches. Sorry, 4 inches rather. So I'll be extending by 4 inches. So this is my 4 inches for the back crotch extension. So I'll label it crotch extension. Okay, so now the next thing is to do what? Impute our, for us to impute our bust span measurement, our nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, so whatever you use for the front, you are going to add extra ½ inch to it. So for the front I use 4 inches, for the back I'm using 4.5. Remember, the back is wider than the front. So here I'll connect all the way from my chest line. I'll connect it to the crotch line like so. So from the waistline I will mark half inch. You can use 1 inch if you so desire. Then I'll connect it into the bust line or bust point like this. Then I'll also connect it into the crotch line. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and blend it like so into the crotch line, or you can go up from the crotch line by 1 inch, so that you'll be able to know exactly where you are blending it in. So this is how I blended it in like so. So this is for the back. So after that, the next thing is to impute our body circumference, then your waist measurement divided by 4 plus your dart intake. So we're going to mark it like so. Then I'm going to mark it. So for the crotch line, for the slant line, you mark. So you mark your hip for the slant line, you mark your hip divided by 4, okay, or like I said during the front. So you are going to mark your hip circumference divided by 4. So this is what I have. But I went ahead to add extra half 1 inch because I want to get a fuller. I want my boots to cover. So if you want your boots to cover more, you go ahead and add some inch. So I added 1 inch or thereabout. Okay, so I just went ahead to add it because I want to get a fuller. So this is on the slant line. Okay, this is on the slant line. Okay, so you can use your hip measurements like I did in at the front when drafting the front. My hip measurement divided by 4. So I went ahead to add extra 1 inch because I wanted to get a fuller covered boots. So remember, we are going to be slanting from here. So from the for this part, this is what we are going to do. We use 1 inch for the front. We are going to be using 2.5 inches. We're going to be using 2.5. Then on this crotch extension, we are going to be using 2 inches. So for us to get a very nice curve like so. So this is the reason why I wanted it to my boots to cover. But if you want it to be like more of a half pants, you can do what? Use your hip circumference divided by 4 rather. Okay, but I went ahead to add extra 1 inch because I wanted to get a more covered boot. Okay, so you try to blend this part in. So just blend it in. So this is what you have. I'm trying to make sure I blend everything in. Don't want to have a sharp edge there. So okay guys, so after that, now the next thing is for us to do what? So here you can decide to come down. Like for the front, I went down from, you can see here. So if you don't want it to go up, if you want it to come down, this is more like a half pant. If you don't want to have this half pant, you can come down by 1 inch as well. So then you curve it. You can see I have from shoulder to, I have 21.5. So by the time you add your 1.5 or 1 inch, you're going to get about 23 inches. So this will be exactly on your hip line or close to your hip line. Then you go ahead and curve it out like so. Then you go ahead and curve it so that you'll be able to get a more covered boot. This is to get a more cover. If you don't want your slant to be on top of your hip, on your upper hip, I don't know how to explain this better, on your upper hip. If you don't want to be on your upper hip, because I don't want this to be on my upper hip, at the end of the day it's going to be giving me more like a half pants. You know, they have half pants and full pants that will cover all your boots, and the one that was going to be cover half of your boots. So after that, then we'll go ahead and proceed to determine the neck depth of our back. So from the chest line, I came down by 1 inch. This is the back yoke. From the chest line, I came down by ½ inch. You can decide to use your chest line or your bust line, but for my chest line, I went down by ½ inch. So then I curved it like so. So I'm going to eliminate 1.5 inches for my loop. I'm going to be using eyelets. So if I'm going to be using zipper, instead of eliminating 1.5, you go ahead and do what? Add 1.5. So remember, I did not add any zipper allowance at the beginning. So but here I am eliminating 1.5 inches for my eyelets. So here I'm going to eliminate it because I'm going to be using eyelets to lace the back. But if you're not lacing the back, if you want to use zip, so go ahead and just add your zipper allowance. Okay, so you can see I'm going to be eliminating this part. So this part will be my eyelets, where my eyelet is going to sit. So now you can see we are almost done with this. So everything depends on your preference, what you are working on. So this is my center back. I'll label it as center back and my side back. Okay, so this is it. So go ahead and mark the arrows so that you will not be confused. So this is basically what we have. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Remember, this part I said I came down by 1.5 inch is optional. You can see, because I wanted to have a more covered boot, that is why I'm trying to modify that part. But if you don't want to have a more covered boot, just use the initial slant. Okay, so guys, this is how it looks like after I've done cutting it out. So this is for the front. That's how it looks like. Okay, so after that, remember, when you are cutting, when you are sewing, you go ahead and create more boning channel. Okay, more boning channel. So this is for the back. This is what I have here. So this is for the back after I've cut it out. This is what it looks like. So thank you guys for joining me on this beautiful tutorial. I hope you find this video helpful. Please, if you do, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, like, and share. In my next video, I'll try and make a video on how to sew this bodysuit using this same pattern. Okay, I'll try and create more time to do that, so that we'll see how it looks like after we are done with it. So here you can choose the neckline of your choice. You can choose to get a straight neckline, or you want to get a keyhole. So you come down from your neck depth 1 inch, then you connect it like so into the your line, your dart leg. So this will serve as your keyhole yoke. So this is optional depending on your preference or your design. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful tutorial. Bye.